Hello, I'm Sydney here with Mo, and we're doing a coffee talk episode. It's going to be a little mini cooking show where we're also going to kind of have a PCS wellness takeover for today's episode. So Mo is going to cook us a very clean and simple recipe that can be made in one pot, and it can be made in like a hotel room or a camper, anything. It's just very minimal ingredients. So what are you making for us today?
So we're gonna make chorizo with burnt veg. And chorizo is a good choice because it's a fun, spicy, keep well protein source.
Flavorful.
Very flavorful. It's lean, so it's automatically gonna pull down the calorie count. And then burnt veg is just really good. Burnt veg keeps well and it's tasty.
Yeah, okay. Awesome. Okay, so we have our broccoli chopped, our potatoes chopped. If you would like to maybe show them how the size.
So personal preference, I clip the woody bits off the broccoli because I don't think it's a delicious bit. You can feed it to your dog, you can throw it in the trash. You can leave them on there if you want, I guess. Doesn't really matter. Potatoes, we just dice down to 1/2 inch by 3/4 inch. So real rough chop. And then we're gonna toss this in some olive oil and smoked paprika just to give it a really good flavor. You'll see I've got a bag here, or excuse me, you'll see I've got a bowl here. It's up to you how you wanna do this. I'm not a big fan of single-use plastic, so I just use a bowl, but if you're traveling and you need to conserve space, it's absolutely okay to jam all this in a 1-gallon Ziploc. Throw the oil and spice in there and then just give it a good shake.
That's a good idea. Also, I want you to oh!
Hello! Sorry to interrupt your cooking channel, but you happen to be standing in my kitchen this day.
That's right. This is JoAnn's kitchen.
So do I get the leftover when you're done with this? You're going to leave it for my dinner, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, I didn't even have a battle with that.
No, I'm just gonna make it again when I get home. So
awesome. I'm excited about this. And I'm glad you talked about the Ziploc baggie because I don't want to dirty a bowl up. So the Ziploc baggie, I'm all about the shake and bake.
No, yeah, that makes sense. Like, I prioritize sea turtles, and you're like dishes.
There, you just crushed my soul.
Yep. We can reshoot that if you want.
JoAnn doesn't care about the sea turtles. Mo does. That's what we're learning here. But real quick, I want you to talk about the little measuring hack that you...
Okay.
So it was my job to buy the groceries for this, and he said 4 cups of broccoli. I bought 2 of these bags just to be safe because I couldn't eyeball it apparently, but I want you to tell them what you told me.
Okay, so if you're caught without measuring cups, which I get it, it happens, there are ways you can cheat your measurements. Now, it's important for me to say that I have small hands. So if you have big ham hock hands, and you know if you do or don't.
Only you will know.
Only you will know. If you have big ham hock hands, you'll need to adjust this and maybe figure it out on your own. But generally speaking, 1 fist from beneath your wrist is about a cup. So this is 1, 2, and it's same width as my fist. 1, 2, 3, about 4 cups right here. And even with it chopped down, it'll probably be close to 3.5. We could measure this out, but I don't see a reason to.
I kind of do just want to prove if you're right, but I won't do that to you today.
I trust it. I didn't know that, and so I thought maybe.
I love that.
Yes. The others don't know that as well.
On topic, since I talked about other measurement hacks, a thumb is about a teaspoon. So it's above that base knuckle there. That's about a teaspoon.
A table or a teaspoon?
Or sorry, a tablespoon, thank you. It's about a tablespoon, and then from the top knuckle on your index to the tip, minus your nail, is about a teaspoon. And there's roughly 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon, so if you need to go up or down, that works out pretty well.
Love it. Okay.
So we're gonna do, inside this, we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of oil, and 2.5 teaspoons of smoked paprika. You can use regular paprika, it's not a big deal.
Smoke has such a nice flavor.
So, the thing, let's talk chorizo, right?
Okay.
So we're using chorizo roja. There's a couple of ways you can get this if you do your own spice mix. So you don't go down to the market, whatever it is. I like a smokier flavor in my food, so I'm gonna use smoked paprika. I'm gonna use ancho chile powder instead of guarilla, because guarilla is gonna give a slightly sweeter flavor. You can toss brown sugar in there too. But we're gonna use a smoky chorizo, and so we're gonna use smoky flavors on our vegetables as well. All right, so we've got veg, and then we're just gonna throw some chorizo that I got from the market onto a baking pan. So this has oil in it. We're not gonna need to oil the pan. And of course my baking sheet is slowly but surely transitioning into cast iron. So pretty well seasoned. If you're making this on a baking sheet, we're gonna show you that if you have time and inclination, flip your broccoli right side up and move it to the top. Otherwise, just throw it in there and don't worry about it. So once you got your broccoli and potatoes tossed together in the oil, we're gonna dump that on the pan, shake it to even it out, and then we're just gonna throw splotches of chorizo on top of it so it's kind of lumpy, and then bake it off for about 35 minutes. And then we're gonna bake it off for about 35 minutes at 400 degrees.
Okay, so would you like line it with parchment or foil? Because I could do that and not have to worry about washing that pan.
You're not gonna have to worry about washing the pan anyway.
You doesn't wash this, couldn't you?
Yeah.
So this is all cooked on oil. So we're gonna shake this flat. A good way to get your broccoli to char is if it went in upside down so the floret is facing down, you can just take some time if you have it and flip it right side up and it'll get a good char on these little bits right here. I've got 1.5 pounds of swelto here. That we got from Morelos in Tulsa if you live in this area.
Shout out.
Yep, which we love. And if you make this yourself or you buy it, either way, it works the exact same way. So it's loose chorizo. You can buy it in the casing if you want, and in which case you just cut the casing open and do the same thing. We're gonna grab a small ball, probably 3/4 inch in diameter, and we're just gonna drop it on there wherever we want until we get about 1 pound.
Oh, like little mini meatballs.
It doesn't have to be meatballs. Like you can see, I'm not being super neat about this. And basically it's just gonna cook down into meaty lumps, which doesn't sound appetizing, but it really is. So it's gonna retain some texture without breaking down into what we would think of as like stew meat or ground up meat.
So really the veg is the star of the show.
The veg is, I mean, the veg should be the star of any plate. It really should.
That's absolutely correct, yes.
At any given time, half your plate should be at least half, probably 2/3 to 3/4 of your plate should always be veg.
Yes.
And we want to keep it low on meats, grains, dairies. Like the food pyramid we grew up on is a bad food pyramid. It's it's not necessarily depression era, but it's definitely, it's not today's post-scarcity food pyramid. So that's why you're gonna see here, this makes 4 servings. Or if you're like me, it makes 2. But
you're really hungry.
it makes 4 servings, right? So you're gonna get roughly 1/4 pound of pre-cooked weight, 1/4 pound of chorizo, and then about 1/4 pound of potatoes and 1/4 pound of broccoli. So it's about 2/3 veg, 1/3 everything else.
I love that. And what I'm thinking is this is not at all how I was picturing this going, so I'm kind of surprised, but I can tell that when this cooks, all the flavor and everything from the chorizo is really going to seep into the potatoes specifically. Oh, I'm so excited to taste this. I just got really excited.
Like the juices will run down to the bottom and grease the pan.
All right, so we are ready. You can see it up close. The chorizo is just kind of pinched off and put around on top of the potatoes and the broccoli. And so what are we doing next?
So we're gonna put this in a preheated oven, 400 degrees for 20 to 30 minutes. And depending on how busy we are, we're going to toss it around halfway through. The nice thing about sheet pan meals made with meats that have a high fat content, especially if you get a good single layer, is you really don't have to toss too much, which means it's a lot more set it and forget it. If you're on the road, you're writing estimates, you're doing 12-hour days, whatever it is, it's good to just set a timer and then be about your business. So that's what we're aiming for here.
Okay. Could get almost 2 estimates written in the time that's baking in the oven, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so we're gonna put it in the oven?
Yep.
All right. Okay, so it's all ready. It smells amazing. So you're gonna take it out of the oven. How long should we wait, or can we just like dive in?
We should probably dive in. I should make sure the chorizo's done, but it looks like it's done.
To taste it.
Yeah.
Okay, The moment of truth. Let's taste test it. Oh my goodness. Who's gonna do this with me?
You have to do the cheesy video camera like.
Okay, I got a potato. I got potatoes, I got broccoli, I got chorizo. We got a really well composed bite here, so.
Composed bite. Look at that. The potatoes. Yum, yum, yum.
It's delicious. It is so good. Okay, so we're all just gonna stand here and eat off of the sheet pan like little heathens, and it is what it is. But anyway, we hope that you loved this little cooking episode, and we will be back with more. So see you next time.
You can see how much it's sticking.